In this video, I'll be explaining what proxies are, showing you how you can use them in your code to avoid getting blocked, and I'll give you guys a discount code so you can use them for cheap. Alright, to explain what proxies are, let's look at a high-level example. So when we're making requests in Python or whatever language you're using, oftentimes we are the client and we're making a request to the server. Now, a request can have different headers and parameters in it, but at a high level, we're just making a request to the server, so we're asking for data. And then if we're authenticated and we're allowed to look at the data, the server will respond. If we're not allowed, they'll also respond, and they'll have different status codes, which we can talk about in a different video. But at a high level, we ask the server for information, it responds with information. And a simple way of thinking about this is you're using an app, you go on Google, let's say you're using Google, you ask Google for some information, it responds. So user asks the app responds. Now, with the proxy, the workflow looks a little bit different. As the client, we're going to go to the proxy, and then the proxy is going to communicate with the server, and then the server will return the information. So in this process, in the middle, we're changing our IP address and changing where the request is coming from. And the reason for this is because sometimes there's a limit to how much a user can get from a resource for whatever reason. And then there's also times where we want to hide where we're coming from to get around those limits. So that's where proxies come into hand. To give a non-program example of when we'd want to do that, let's look at this hypothetical example of person 1 wants to make 100 orders, but the service blocks users after 5 tickets. Now, in this case, the user could maybe wait a week and order another 5 tickets, wait another week, order another 5 tickets, but that's incredibly inefficient. So what we could do instead is if that person had 99 friends, they could ask each friend, hey, can you buy 5 tickets? And then in total, you'll have 500 tickets. Proxies allow us to do the same exact thing. If we just make a standard request for 100 orders, the server could block us because each user is only allowed 5 tickets. But instead, if we use proxies, we can get 500 different IP addresses, 99 other IP addresses, make the order for 5 tickets, and then we can have our 500 tickets. So that's how we could do it. And now I'll show you how to do this in code. All right, now that we're here in the code editor, as you can see, it's like really simple to use a proxy. So all we're doing is we're importing requests, and then I'm also loading my credentials from a .env file. If you're not sure what this is, it essentially allows programmers to hide their credentials when they're uploading to GitHub or sharing it with other people. And so that's exactly what I'm doing here. I have my proxy username and password saved in a different file just to protect, my code. So yeah, after I load it in, I use that for the proxy URL. I'm using Smart Proxy. They recently rebranded to Decodo, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. But once you have this all set up, all you're going to want to do is just make a request to the following URL. I'm just making it to their example URL, but this could be to the website you actually want to scrape. Then you're going to pass in the proxy, and then we have a timeout. You can leave this timeout if you want. Essentially what this is doing is it's making a request. If after 10 seconds it doesn't receive any response, it's just going to end and say that didn't get a response in time. And then we're just going to print out the resulting IP. And if there's any errors, we're just going to print that exception. So now that we've gone through about these 20 lines of code, let's see how it works in the terminal. All right, now let's put the proxy to the test and see what we get. So make a request, and we see that we're here in Paraguay with this following IP address. Now I'll make a new request and we get a completely different IP address and location. And now I'm in Italy and I'm in Europe. So to show off how this works, let's go to my platform. So this is the platform I use. It's quite good and proxies are quite cheap and they work very well. So as you can see here, we have the following information, and I've set my session type to be rotating. So every time I make a request, the information and the proxy I use changes. Now there's going to be some instances where the request that we're making is going to be attached to a cookie or a session or a token. And so you may want to have what are known as sticky proxies. So these will stay the same for about 10 minutes while we're using that same cookie. And that's just to make things not look suspicious. Because if we have the same cookie, but our IPs are going across the world, that's going to look suspicious. And it's going to be obvious that we're a bot. But if we have the same IP and we use a cookie for 10 minutes, then we swap the cookie and swap the IP after 10 minutes, it'll be undetectable. So those are just quick example of like when to use sticky versus rotating, and you can see custom amount. So in applications I would be using, if the cookie expires after 15 minutes, I would set that here and use a rotating proxy or a sticky proxy that expires after 15 minutes. And this platform has been great. I'll leave a link down in the description with my referral code. You'll get some money back, I'll get some money back, so it's a great deal. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to use proxies with Selenium and other headful and headless browsers. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys there.